Awesome. Hey guys, welcome to our next episode. Um, I'm really happy to have Dianne with us and just go through her journey, what company she runs, and just have a fun conversation together for you guys. Obviously, we'll connect with her afterwards and leave contact information. But welcome, Dianne. Maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, and we can go from there.
Okay, well, I have been I launched NLP Hypnocopy and other brands like the Hypnotic Amazon Copywriter, Perfecto Enterprises, things like that, about, oh my goodness, 12 years ago now, after a long career in both sales and as a special education teacher and director. So it's been a really fun journey for the last 12 years. What started off as an SEO company and was an SEO company for like 3 months, really quickly transformed into writing words that sell things. And now we're at the point where I've written more than 5 billion worth of sales for online services and products. So it's, we went through studying neurolinguistic programming and conversational hypnosis, which was all, a lot of that had to do with my special education background anyway. And then it kind of tied into sales. And then I just figured out how to keep using it in advertising to generate more and more and more sales. And now we focus on both the creative direction side, so telling people what to use in videos and images, and also the words to use on top of images, obviously sales copy, right? So it's kind of come full circle, where it's not just top sales copywriting anymore. It's now kind of everything else you need to dominate online.
Very interesting. And what was the initiation of starting this? Like, was it just an idea? Was it kind of like you saw a void in the market and you're like, hey, I have these skills and go into it? How did that kind of start?
That's a really good question. I started my first business when I was 6 years old. So it's kind of something I've always had. I learned at a very young age, coming from an entrepreneurial family, that you see a problem, you solve a problem, and make sure that it's a problem that you can get paid for, right? This sales copy side of things happened a little bit more accidentally. I was already in the field of real estate investing as a side thing and absolutely loved it. But it was 2008, the market was tanking, right? And it was kind of that gap between like where my hard money lending company was about to make a whole bunch of sales. And then, the government had just locked everything down in terms of real estate investing. And I had my first child, Adelaide. She's now, oh my gosh, she's 13. She's gonna be 14 this year. I guess I've been at this for longer than I thought. So I had her, and she was in the NICU. She was born 4 months early. And so suddenly I had to scramble and figure out, since she couldn't go into daycare, like what I could do that was going to be consistent. And I ended up accidentally, like, I started this business with $7 and a lot of experience. I started on Fiverr, but I guess it would be 13, almost 14 years ago now, writing SEO articles for like $10 an article way back when. And within 1 month, we were number one on Fiverr. And then within 4 months, we had launched onto Upwork, which was Elance at that point in time. And within a year, we were doing 6 figures a year just on sales copy alone. So it was a really great blessing, but it also came from a sales background where I can't not sell things, right? I've always been very, very much like here are the benefits, here are the features, here are the transformations, and finding like that edge with the neurolinguistic programming and the conversational hypnosis. I've always been that way since I was little. I used to study presidential campaigns when I was 8 years old. Persuasion was like my thing, right? So I kind of carried through. I just never thought of it as a career until, like in terms of writing, sales copywriting, until a little over a decade ago. So
that is so interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Would you say, kind of going into the next question, that would be the mission of your life, is kind of that persuasive copywriting, and is that the focus and mission of your brand and company?
The mission of my brand, well, okay, so that's really funny. We're constantly pivoting into new areas of persuasion and what clients need. So I wouldn't say our mission is what we deliver. Our mission started off from the very beginning as helping other parents who are just like me to create a sustainable business that they love from home, but not in the work from home or like the spammy, style thing. It was like clients come to us, and on the Amazon side or e-commerce side, they come to us with private label products, which means they're products that have been created by factories, US, Mexico, China, all over the place. And our area of expertise is we help position those products as profit dominators. So if you have, and same thing with services for our other clients, because it helps, we always think of it as putting food on the table for their families. I'm not thinking about, like, my motivation, my inspiration is not like, oh, hey, I can dominate this marketplace for this person, which I love doing. That's a game to me. But every single thing that we do, we think about, my husband and I, we have 7 kids. And we think about like putting food on everybody else's table and how is this going to elevate their lives and their kids' lives, give them the time to spend with their kids, because that's something that both of us, working as hard as we did in our younger years, and we still work really hard, but working as hard as we did in our younger years, that we always wanted that. We wanted to be able to spend that time with our kids, have that freedom. And we now have reached a point where we can look at any product or service and say, this is how we can create a hypnotic anchor for it. This is how we can position it in the marketplace so it's seen as the go-to, a market of one, a superior product. This is your best chance for launching this product. These are all the other assets that you're going to need in addition to, like people will come to us and say, I need a webinar. And I'll say, what's your goal? And what's your product? And they'll talk to me about it, and I'll do a consultation with them. And we'll say, no, that's not what you need. What you need is A, B, and C. A webinar is going to be long, drawn out, expensive, and sometimes a webinar is warranted. But we do just as much consulting in terms of helping people reach their goals and creating the blueprint and pathway to get there as we do the actual sales copywriting at this point in time. Because the idea behind this is really to help as many people as possible to achieve those goals. Coming from special education, sales goals are both, like, they were a major thing. I've always been obsessed also with how some people become successful and some people just fall flat no matter how hard they try. So that's kind of the other area of our business, is like the neuropsychology side of things. When we see people getting stuck in limiting beliefs, I guess is a good way, a really non-religious way of, non-spiritual way of putting it. So, I mean, we have our main mission is to help people, but we come at it from a lot of different angles, I guess. So writing words that sell is a big part of it, but you don't help generate more than 5 billion online just learning to write words that sell. I mean, there's almost nobody else who's done that on the planet. So we have to look at it from every single angle. It's a whole ecosystem, including the person, their product, what they're capable of, what their resources are, what their identity is, what the product's identity is, and then kind of putting all that together and determining how to make that product make money when they're competing against 7,999 other products that everybody sees as the same. We have to position it as superior, even if it's the exact same product. I mean, if you were to go to Amazon and pull up products, you would see like there's a lot of them that are just copycat products, and there's one that's selling the most and far more than everybody else. And usually that's a product that we're behind. We've taken that product and looked at it and said, what's superior about this product, or what can we frame as superior about this product that nobody else is talking about, the customers really want. So
I like that. I like that a lot. And how much of that has to do with the positioning of the brand and how they've made the product a little unique, a little different, and then how much of that comes with you guys extracting that with the copy, with images, and kind of positioning it, like you said, different than the 7,000 other competitors?
I would say we work on about 99% refining, because most brands think that and this is not to be rude, it's just, after launching over 4,000 clients, when we kind of have an insight on this, most people think that they know what their customers are going to want. They think that they've created some stellar brand that is so different from everybody else's, and really is just a copycat. And that's what it comes across as. So superiority is really, really important if you're not trying to, compete on price. But what we do is a lot more, like how they pull, fuel out of it, like they pull, I don't know exactly what they call it, but essentially oil out of the ground, right? We're more of the refining plant. So you've already created the product, and you're not selling as many as you want, or you could be selling a lot more, or you're just not selling at all. Or the service, you're competing against people with much deeper pockets. We take that and we refine it into what it needs to be. And, with the words, with the images, with the positioning in terms of creating those hypnotic anchors, telling you which trust deals to use, telling you what to use in videos, whether or not you should even be messing around on Facebook, or whether or not LinkedIn is a better option for you. It's like, because everybody buys what people are selling right now, what people are buying right now is like a pathway or a method or a system. And we have a system as well, but our system is more of like you would go into a doctor, have no idea what's wrong with you, and we would help you we would look through all of it to figure out what's wrong, as opposed to saying the best way to do this is by selling on YouTube, or the best way to do this is by getting new images. Like, we're not trying to sell a service. We are trying to provide an outcome. We're completely outcome driven, right? So that's why, I mean, this is, you probably already know this is unheard of. We have unlimited edits on, sales copy and consulting and graphics and all of that for a full year. It's like a 1-year warranty. Nobody else does that. But the whole point is that we're providing an outcome to your family, Not that we're just writing words that sell things and we're the best at it, right? Or that we can create images that sell, like hotcakes. We can, but without fully understanding the ecosystem of every product around yours, every single brand, their capabilities, where you're selling, if there's a better platform to pivot to, if you should be using different traffic sources, even down to like, what keywords should you be using to rank on places like not Shopify, but like, everything from Amazon to Etsy to YouTube to, we can do all of that, but there's no one pathway. We're not selling one single pathway saying that if you advertise on YouTube and you use this sales page outline, you're going to make as many sales as this other lipstick brand that spent 10 billion in advertising on the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It's about having the knowledge, the actual expertise to be able to take a look at a product or a service and say, here's how we can position this as superior. Here's the best way to launch this. These are the assets you really need. And we live by a not more than you need policy. So if you are someone who comes in and it's like, we can sell you a $20,000 package, but most people aren't going to need that. Most people are going to be fine with like the Profit Dominator full launch, which is like a couple $1,000s, as opposed to a company that'll say, well, what else can we sell them? How do we upsell them? We're focused on creating, like helping you upsell, not on upselling you, right? Because we kind of live by that's part of our mission, first of all, is we're not trying to take all the food off your kid's table. Not that there's anything wrong with money. We love money, but we feel like we should earn it, right? And the other part of it is like, there's so many things and so many options of, I can buy these 5 million shiny objects. What you really want us to get is both the feeling and the outcome. Like you want to feel confident in what you're doing. You want to feel like you're successful along the way. You want to know that you're on the right track. You want to know that you're not burning your kids' future, your future retirement or your kids' future college savings funds. You want to know what you're doing is actually growing towards the goals that you want to hit as an entrepreneur. But you also, you want those feelings, but you also really just want that outcome. You don't want to waste time trying 50 different shiny objects and going through a million different trainings. And so the people who work with us, either they come in to be trained, they want that like the in-depth expertise and knowledge, and the people who come and work with us who want, they're not coming for sales copy, they're coming for outcomes. They're not coming for graphics, they're coming for outcomes. Does that make sense? And the outcomes that impact their family and their future, whether they're trying to retire early or they found themselves in a situation where they just can't work at a regular job because their kids, like our kids are, we tag team on our jobs. Our kids are all over the place. Like the school will call at 10 a.m. There's almost a need to have a parent home all the time now, unless you can afford to have a full-time nanny, just waiting in the wings. You know what I mean? It's a very different world now. The schools, the job expects you to be there. And, I'm completely flexible with mine, thank goodness. And, my husband works in the oil industry, so he's, in like logistics. And so he's got some good, flexibility as well. But I can't even imagine like being those parents out there trying to figure out, you've both already used up every time your kid gets a sniffle, the reality hits you that you've both already used up all of your paid time off. You need to start a business. You have no idea what to do. You have either an expertise or you can use a platform like Amazon, and like sell products, or you can sell your expertise. Like, but where do you go from there? Right. We even reach a point with, we completely pivot brands. When we talk about brands, we completely pivot service brands to the point where like people will come to us and they'll say, I want to do this. I've been mowing lawns for a year. I want to grow my lawn mowing business or something. Just, super basic things. And I'll say, that sounds really fun, but I used to run a recruiting agency as well, and I was really good at it. So, and this was, over a decade ago. Why don't you shoot me a resume and let's see if we can do something that makes you more money, that provides that flexibility? Because when you're doing things like mowing lawns, you're still tied until you can expand. You're still tied to somebody else's schedule. You're still tied to a time, for work exchange in terms of a paycheck check. Like there's so many other things you can be doing, and you can pay other people to mow the lawn. That's great, but then you've got like there's seasonal things. Like we've worked with so many businesses, we can consider so many different things, and we've taken people completely out of what they came to us for and put them in a completely different business than 2 or 3 months, because I just take a look at it, I'm like, this is not for you. Like, yes, you're selling on Amazon, but you hate it, you're miserable. Like, what'd you do in the past? Do you want to look at coaching or consulting or creating a training program or something else? So it's kind of, it started as being really, top 0.001% sales copywriting within the first year. And then it's really expanded into getting people where they need to go, right? And where they want to go.
Very interesting. And I think, yeah, the modern day, it's the 9 to 5, and even though as entrepreneurs in the digital age, we're like 24/7
Like
working,
24/7.
but
I like the 24/7. That's part of why I do what I do. Yeah.
but
Always thinking.
it's
Yep.
going more and more in that direction, whether people like it or not. It's, you know, the
Mhm.
whole 2020 made everything digital, Zoom, like everything is kind of becoming on us to uh, manage the time, because and
Yes.
I know it must be difficult for you with 7 children, but some people with 2 kids, 3 kids, they're
Mhm.
not finding the time to do everything for them, and work, and personal things and all that. So it's like, yeah, we do have to
Yep.
diversify into these platforms that have arisen, and uh, find our niche. What that might be Amazon, that might be YouTube,
Yep.
Shopify, Facebook, but something's out there for someone. And you're saying you discover that in people. And you
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have. That's my husband says it's one of my secret knacks is I can take a look at anybody, talk to them for 3 minutes, or read an email, look at their resume, and know exactly what's going to make them the most money, whether that's their job or like pivoting jobs, businesses, like any of that. I used to be right before I started my real estate. It wasn't a real estate business. I was a licensed real estate and loan officer, but I started my hard money lending business and real estate analysis, like flipping, fixing, wholesaling, all of that while I was a recruiter. I was an executive recruiter. I'd been through executive, financial, legal recruiting. I'd been through administrative recruiting, all of it. And so it wasn't, like I've always, even before I had my own business and that's all that I did, I always worked at least 1 or 2 jobs and ran a business on the side because it's just what I do, right? It was kind of a natural thing. So yeah, we can look at that and we can help people pivot. We can help people choose products based on their expertise. That expertise, that clout you have is an awesome thing you shouldn't just throw away when you go and become an entrepreneur. It's like and it's kind of like you never give up your first bread and butter business, but as an entrepreneur, once you've reached the point in your business where either like you've kind of scaled to where you can scale to without and you're ready to hire other people, or B, like you're burnt out, because entrepreneur, we do burn out on doing the same thing. We really, really do. If we have to do the same thing over and over again, like it gets really boring. Like you might want to be looking at your background again and pivoting into something else, in addition, right? And we all kind of, nobody wants to work 24/7 for their entire lives, realistically. But when we get passion, entrepreneurs are driven by passion, right? So when we get passionate about what we do and we kind of unlock a new secret or unlock a new, way to improve other people's lives and solve their problems, that 24 hours a day stops feeling like work again. And so sometimes we end up even in just like that emotional connection with people, because we're really connected to most of our clients. Like we've had a lot of our clients for a long time. um like they come to you and you can suddenly tell like they're just not feeling it anymore. We've helped people in the last 2 years start pivoting out of their businesses and sell them so they can figure out what they want to do next, because entrepreneurs don't become entrepreneurs because they want to burn out and be bored for the rest of their lives. They want to become entrepreneurs because they're problem solvers and they always have a next problem to solve, and another, they want to know how to get there, and they're always kind of researching and reading and studying. Like I see these studies about the way to become a successful entrepreneur is you read for 30 minutes a day. I know almost no entrepreneurs who aren't reading something 30 minutes a day anyway, because we're curious, right? We just want to solve problems. So when I read that stuff, I kind of crack up, because if you're part of the population that lacks the motivation to want to do anything besides go to a job, collect a paycheck, and watch TV, more power to you. That's awesome. But the rest of us are reading for 30 minutes a day anyway. We're not forcing ourselves to do it, right? We're doing it because we're curious. We want to learn. We want to solve people's problems, and that requires knowledge and
Yeah,
constant knowledge. So I don't know
no,
why I went off on that tangent, but
no, 100%.
it's
One
totally
one
true.
thing, one thing that me and you share as a passion, and I know you've worked in this, and I want to touch on it a little. You mentioned special education. Um,
Yes.
how did you transition out of that? And then what did it go into? Was it kind of, were you teaching, or was it
I was teaching, and then I was a director, and then I was a
right.
program manager over 2,000 individuals with special needs. And I had like 200 employees that were underneath me. And then I had a daughter 4 months early with special needs. And she had, not only was she in the NICU for 4 months because she was born 4 months early, but then she had seizures, she had failure to thrive. She had all these things we'd seen the repercussions of in special education.
Mm,
Um, but I faced them firsthand. And suddenly I understood what it was like to be one of those parents. And I lost my childcare. I was working as a program manager in special education. and I lost my childcare, and I couldn't find more childcare because nobody else would take her. She had seizures. I was driving an hour and a half to one of my friend's houses, who was like a family member, to drop her off every morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I could be to work at 7, so I could support the individuals, like my employees, my staff, all of that. And this was not my business. This was a nonprofit. So I wasn't making very much money at this point in time. And then going to pick her up at 5:30, driving an hour and a half back with her in the car, hoping she didn't have a seizure, getting there at 7, going to tutor from 7:30 to 9:30 because I had a tutoring business to support sending her to putting her in daycare, like to be able to afford it. And like I said, after 2 weeks into this, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm not seeing my child at all. This is not healthy for her to be in the car for 3 hours a day. I've got to figure something else out. And so I told my boss, I went to my, my husband at the time. I've remarried since then. And, their dad's awesome. My ex-husband's awesome. He just he's very much a digital nomad, and I'm very much like a home person. You know what I mean? So I was driving her back and forth. And so I kind of threw myself off of a cliff. The way I got into this was, I have a firm belief in, I know this is probably going to sound crazy to some people, but maybe it'll align with others. I have a firm belief in the law of attraction. And I said, all I need to do to replace my income right now is to have a job working from home, making like $10 an hour. And I just want to be typing because I love to type things. I love the sound of the keyboard, or I used to. Now I don't even notice it anymore, but I love typing really fast. I could type 175 words a minute. Not kidding. I actually type faster than I talk, which is shocking to people.
Wow.
So you know what I mean? Because I talk really fast. So I wanted this, and this job popped up. I had spent the last $7 I had on this little ebook, and I was going through it, and I was like, this is really silly. And the very last paragraph said, you can go, and if you're really fast at typing, you can make, and this had nothing to do with writing, but this is like in the bonus section back of this little $7 ebook. I think I had $7 or $12 left to my name. That was it, because I'd thrown myself off of a cliff. I was going to survive. Like I was going to survive I was going to figure it out on the way down. That's what we do. So I I went, and it said, go to this place called fiverr.com. I'd never heard of it. Again, this was well over a decade ago. This was when almost nobody was on there, and it said you can put up a thing that says write SEO articles, and I didn't know what an SEO article was, but I figured it out really quickly. So you'll write a 500-word SEO article for like $5, and I was like, I can type really fast. I have a million creative ideas. You mean all I have to do is put 10 keywords into an article that people want to read, and I'll make $5 doing this? I can do 2 an hour, make $10 an hour. Super easy. I can do this at 3 a.m. I can do this with the kids screaming in the background. I can do this anywhere. Obviously, that very quickly went, I went way beyond that very, very quickly. Within 4 months, like I said, we were positioned for 6 figures within 4 months of doing this, because people they started saying, can you not try to talk them into doing something? Like, we're getting all these people asking to buy things that we haven't created. We're getting people are asking, and I'm like, well, why don't you just create them? And because they were trying to rank what they were doing at that time. I don't know if you remember, but what people were doing is they're trying to rank affiliate websites, like websites with a whole bunch of affiliate links. And so they were ranking these at the top, and all they wanted were for people to go and click on the banner advertising at the top. Do you remember this? This was like 2007 to 2009-ish, right? It's like 2008, 2009. And so they're like, please don't sell anything. Like, don't, I'm like, well, what do you want me to sell? And so, then one of my clients came along and said, I bet you'd be really good as a sales copywriter. I was like, what is that? That sounds intriguing. And then I looked up, I was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm going to do next with my life. I'm going to write words that sell things and bail businesses out of the failing economy in 2008. So 2008, 2009-ish. Yeah. And I didn't have an official business license until 2011. Like, I was just cluelessly doing it. I was making money for people online. That's what I did. And I made money.
That's the way everyone started. I didn't have a corp when I signed up for
No.
Amazon. Like,
no.
okay, so
you don't buy
let's test
Post-it notes
this out
first. You make money first, and then buy the Post-it notes. Like, people go and set up their desk, the Post-it notes, and their notebooks and everything else. So it's like, you make a great secretary, but you need to just go make money, and then you can go buy the Post-it notes. You don't do that first.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry.
Cool.
Tangent.
What would you say is the 3 most important things let's keep it for Amazon or e-commerce sellers? What are the 3 most important things for Amazon sellers to be successful?
Oh my God, just 3? Okay. One is you need to focus on superiority and how you're going to position for superiority, or get somebody who can do that for you before you go and order a product, right? The profit margin you see other people making on Amazon is not the profit margin you're going to make necessarily. All those software and tools are amazing. Helium 10 is my absolute, I love Helium 10. There's a lot of other amazing ones out there. But in terms of like sales copywriting with keyword, putting in keywords and things like that, Helium 10 is really awesome. It saves me so much time. And I'm not an affiliate of theirs at all. I'm just saying. So, I would definitely look at that. Don't focus on keywords, focus on profit. The way that it works is you need to get revenue, which generates ranking, which they now call ratings, right? Which then, I'm sorry, not ranking, revenue. And then they called it reviews, but now they call it ratings. And then that's what drives ranking, right? People are so stinking keyword focused on Amazon. I can infuse 100 keywords into your listing from the front end to the back end. Amazon is not going to care. There are 7,999 other people competing for the same top high volume keywords out there. And if you don't make sales, why would Amazon rank you as number 1 through number 18 on page 1 if you're not making sales? Why would they rank you over anybody else? Right? So like I would say that's the biggest misnomer. Like the thing to avoid is avoid focusing on keywords. They do not matter nearly as much as everybody talks about. It's just that that's the black and white tangible people who don't have a lot of mental capacity can cling onto. Right. So the keywords are important, but they're not anywhere near as important as the superior positioning of your product. So people actually want to buy it, because the keyword bots, they'll eat that up. That's great. We have something called a bot buffet description that I can rank 44 keywords in under, I can rank 44 keywords on a bot buffet in for page 1 in less than like a week by just adding these things in here for sales that people are already getting. And Amazon then makes that connection and they index it. Or sometimes ahead of time if they're in that first month momentum stage, but they're not going to maintain that ranking, right? So I have a big bone to pick with just people who are folks. Like today I got this great spreadsheet and I was like, we're using these keywords, and I was doing a review. It wasn't my listing. I was doing a consultation. I was like, we're using these keywords, and I was like, that's great, but you're not selling anything. So why does it matter what the words have to sell, the images have to sell now more than ever, not the keywords, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing, I guess, is, not every product is a home run. And while we can position it as a home run, if you're in a highly saturated market, right, and you're not willing to do what it takes to dominate in that market, for example, it's just like in real estate, if what the price you buy at is the most important price, not the price you sell at, right? So in real estate, your spread is made on buying at the best possible price, not on selling at the best possible price, because you can't predict the market spread on the day that you're going to be able to sell the property. The same thing happens. The same thing happens. That you have to get rid of that. Okay. I thought that was me. I was like, I don't have a paid Zoom account. The same thing happens with products online. People think, okay, well, we can do superior positioning and we can do superior positioning all day long. But if you're selling in a sales funnel, great. I'll take your supplement and sell it for $197 all day long. Give me a sales funnel. Let's do it, right? It's going to cost you a lot more to launch into it. It's going to cost you a lot more to have it written. It's going to cost a lot more to have it created. But Amazon is a competitive marketplace. It's a search engine based on competitive marketing, right? Competitive products. People go and analyze the products. It's not your product in a sales funnel, or what we used to say in physics is in a vacuum, right? So what you're doing is you're actually competing. You have to look at every single factor. You have to look at the price. Are there products that we've sold on Amazon for 4, 5, 6, 10 times? Position them to sell? Yes, but you're going to have a lower volume of sales. It's just the sales psychology, right? If somebody else has 3,000 5-star ratings or 4.3 star ratings, and they're selling the same thing you're selling for $19.99, and they hire a superior copywriter and our graphics team, and we've positioned them, and then you come along and you want to sell for $197 in Amazon, you're still going to get some sales. You're going to have a much lower conversion rate because it's a comparative marketplace, and people are going to say, okay, so that's why we always encourage people to look at their spread, right? So think about it. One of the bigger mistakes is people don't look at Amazon as a regular business. They're launching into Amazon with no business experience. They've never had a service. The people who are really successful on Amazon have had services and had products, tangible ones on the ground, brick and mortar, or they've been in the online game for a while, right? So these other people who haven't had a service, or they've never actually run a business, they don't understand all the ins and outs. They think that you pick a product, You get some pretty pictures taken, and pretty pictures don't sell. I have a whole video training on what does sell, but pretty pictures aren't what sell. And then they put it up on Amazon, or they put it up, on Etsy, or, some kind of website. And then they put in a bunch of keywords, and because they exist, like they have this idea that because their product exists, they should get the most sales, or they should be getting substantial sales, but they don't realize that there are 7,999 other people, and only 20 of those are willing to compete their tail off to get to page one and actually stick it through on Amazon. And those are the ones who succeed. Those are the ones who've generally been in business before, right? So Amazon, like the people selling there a lot of times just lack that training. Now, I have seen professionals who come out of business management come in with no prior business ownership experience, or professionals in engineering have done really well. Professionals in project management have done really well. But I would recommend that you have a project management background, or hire a project manager, and have a business background, or hire a business manager or an operations manager before you go and try to launch something that you think you can charge a lot more for on a marketplace where the cap's really, like the safe cap is really 25% above the median price, right? I feel like I just rattled off a ton of stuff. I know we need to wrap up.
No, that's so valuable. And obviously this is an intro call, and we could go so deep into that, but I'm glad that it's not just three things. I'm saying that just to make it simpler for people listening, but you can really dig so much deeper, because every product's different, every brand's different.
Yes.
Positioning. And I would love for people after this to connect with you and dig deeper into that. How can people connect with you the best way, the fastest way, if they have any questions? Because I'm sure there is going to be questions into specifically what things we need to do as Amazon sellers to be more successful. So how can people connect with you and kind of take that conversation further? And I'm sure you'll love to.
Oh, so many different ways. You can go to hypnoticamazoncopywriter.com. You can go check me out on Facebook. Just shoot me a message. I always respond. On our website, there's a help desk. That's hypnoticamazoncopywriter.com. I have a shorter name that I'm trying to link to it, because I've realized that's become a lot to type into a mobile phone. It really is. Dianne at amazonsalesguru.com. That started off as a joke. Amazon Sales Guru, a client coined that, and then like I'm still kind of embarrassed that the word guru is in my thing, but like it's stock. So you keep what sticks, right? Even if it's not the marketing you'd want, you still keep it because it's working. It's not about me. It's about
as long as it works.
Yeah, as long as it's working, absolutely. Those are great ways to get a hold of me. I'm always happy to, jump in and take a look at people's listings. I do it all the time and let them know, there are some listings that it's about price, and we can just say, you need to lower your price by $2 or $3. It doesn't matter how much period positioning you have. This is a piece of plastic, and we've positioned it as this, or, you've had it positioned as this, and I don't think you're going to sell it for $122, right? The problem it solves isn't big enough compared to everybody else solving that problem. Sorry, pardon me, I've got the hiccups all of a sudden because I'm so excited. We look at the images, we look at the words that are selling, we look at the competition. We can do all of that very quickly. And like the keyword team obviously takes a lot longer to be able to look at anything, but they charge, I have to pay them. It's not like I'm using my time. I have to pay them, so that's a little more complicated. But we have other ways of helping too. We have like a $99 a month like consultation program where people can come and get something reviewed every single month and get assistance from sales funnels to websites to Amazon listings, all of that. We don't rewrite it. We just tell you how to shift things so you can make more sales. That's really easy. We do $250 an hour consults. We do hypnotic Amazon listings, profit domination, like full profit domination on Amazon. We do all kinds of things. So it's more tailored to what is going to create the outcome that somebody wants, not like we write listings, right? The we write listings thing is not helpful. A lot of people can write listings, but they don't sell.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
So that's the important thing on Amazon. Otherwise, you don't have a business. You just have a really, really expensive hobby. Yeah, super expensive hobby.
Well said. I really like that. This has been very wonderful. My brain is already running, and I want to go into so many more things, but maybe we could do another.
We can do another one on something specific if you want, whenever you want to.
Keep it to something specific and dig deep into it, because I love uncovering a lot of this stuff. But what I'll do is I'll also leave the links in the description for everyone so that they can connect with you, and hopefully some good things come out of it for their listings, their customers, and your business as well. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me.
yeah, we'll definitely chat it up next time.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Have an amazing day.
All right. Bye, Diane.
Bye.